A blinding light floods the room, broken only by a small silhouette, one with big ears. Hero? Hero? It cocks its head back. It cocks its head, taking a moment to examine the situation before reeling back in shock. Ah. That is something I cannot read. Yep. Another foreign language. Oh, fuck. Hello. Hold on. Inspection. I'm not going to be reading all that German, because I do not know how to. He did say he never learned English. Then that means... Hero rushes over to me, trying to lift the cables away from my arms. They only get pulled tighter, making me wince in pain. What's here? I have no idea what he's saying. Hero. He twitches. Ja? The golden place. And he switched back to Japanese. He reaches for the cables, but sparks of static electricity shoot out at him. The smell of burnt rubber fills my nostrils and he reels back, shaking the smoke off his hands. What the? Motor. I don't understand. He grabs a pair of gloves off of the workbench next to us, shaking his head in disappointment as he slides them on. This isn't going to work. I can feel my breathing get worse. Hero, listen to me. I cock my head toward one of his ears. He nods, still flustered. German isn't a language I have a ton of familiarity with, and I doubt Hero is a master of it. I can only recall a few words from Father's business partners. We never made that trip overseas after all. But there are root words between English and German, right? If we can find some common ground. Okay. Okay. That must be one. No, that's not helpful. I need to think harder. I notice a panel of blinking buttons behind him, covered by a sheet of glass. Glass. Father's workshop. That's it. Feldspar? His eyes flash with recognition and then confusion. Oh, das Glas? I made a pressing down gesture with my index finger. No. Ja. Die fans. Another word. Fan. Churn off fan. He thinks for a moment. Nine. Tell me what's happening. Ah. He gestures to the line of cables leading from the fans up and across the ceiling, ending where I am currently sitting. He mimics being electrocuted and I gulp. At least I recognized another word. Okay, can we cut them off? I make a snipping gesture and sound effect. He rolls his eyes, reaffirming his previous statement. Alright. I really should have paid better attention during my father's lessons. At least his personality is the same as it was before. I can't help but feel slightly comforted by him scolding me again. Only one way. He walks over to a switch on a nearby wall, flipping open a few cover buttons, before pressing them in a specific sequence. He's back to Japanese. I feel lost again. I don't understand. He slides a rubber glove off his hand and carefully places it onto mine, avoiding brushing against any of the machinery. Hero? He holds onto it with his gloved hand, barehanded, hovering over the lever. Please. My heart's pounding in my chest. He barely touched me before and got burned. Don't do it. He inches closer to the lever, only holding onto the tips of my fingers. Don't let go. English. Okay. After a deep breath, he grabs the lever, yanking down with all his might. His tiny body convulses as I hear the low hum of the engine die down. Hero. Suddenly, the cables around me come to life, extending outwards as if an invisible force pushed them away from my body. As they hang rigidly in the air, my arms finally fall free. The sense of relief is fleeting as I quickly gather my bearings and duck around them, never letting go of Hero's hand. Ying. Another twinge of pain. The air is thick with static and I can feel my whiskers standing on end. We can do this. With him still holding it, I slam my protected hand on top of his and push down. Even with our combined strength, it barely budges. Come on. Hero's breathing is shaky, but his hands burn defiantly. I feel his muscles tense as he pushes down with a surprising amount of strength. Hero? Gah! Finally, something gives, and we force the lever all the way down. The lights go off, and we collapse into a heap on the ground. All I can hear is the sound of our combined, heavy breathing. Hero, we did it! My whiskers brush against his, and I hear a sharp pop as a spark briefly illuminates our faces. Ah, no, the static! He chuckles, and I hear a glove hit the floor. He clears his throat, something I notice he does before switching languages. Safe. Okay. He closes a bare hand around mine, slowly inching up my arms and under my chin. Everywhere he touches, the fur dances, magically repelled by his fingers. The little sparks are enough that we can see each other for a few seconds at a time. I mimic him, brushing a hand against his cheek, across his cheek. His fur sways like an anemone under the waves. It's almost ghostly, the way it floats for a moment before darting in a random direction. Okay. See you soon, Psycho. The way he looks back at me, so full of curiosity and wonder. I must look the same way to him right now. I never knew. No, never mind. I realize I've been laying on him and get up, dusting myself off. Sorry, are you alright? Hiro, okay? Hero, okay? He smiles and nods, pushing himself off the floor. Hero, okay. The lights start to flicker back on and I breathe a sigh of relief. I'm so glad. Where the hell am I? I'm immediately distracted by the arcs of blood beginning to seep through Hero's shirt. Hero! I point to his chest. He looks down, sucking his teeth nonchalantly. It's only now that I notice the bandages poking out from beneath his clothes, dirty and old. We need to find a doctor. Again? He shrugs his head in confusion. Medicine? He gives me the okay symbol, smiling indifferently. No, don't move your arms. The bleeding will only get worse. Uh-oh. His eyes gloss over for a moment and his knees dip. Hero? I hold him up, the smell of blood getting stronger by the second. Even in his native tongue, his speech is slurred. I lay him on his back, taking care not to bump his head on the metal floor. I need to take a look. This isn't good. I go to start unbuttoning his shirt and he grips my forearm tightly. Come on, this isn't the time. He flexes his bicep and recoils as more pain shoots through his body. He sighs, releasing my arm with a nod. I undo the top row of buttons and gently tug the neck of his shirt, down around his shoulders and midsection. I need to take this off, okay? A reluctant nod. The bandages are soaked through to the skin, 2 U-shaped streaks of red under each of his pecs. I can see some fresh scars under the loose sections of gauze and a couple of torn strands of thread. Shit, surgical stitches. Why did you pull so hard if you... He turns away, refusing to look at me. Hero, where's your doctor? There has to be someone who did this to you, right? He doesn't answer. I know he understands me. There's no time for this. I need to find some who speaks my language. Stay here. I'll find help. Fritz. Huh? He flips back over, wincing with tears in his eyes. Fritz. Bird. He know English. He goes to make another gesture with his arms and I hold him down. He rolls his eyes, pulling it away from me. Tall bird. Black. Okay. I'll go find him. Don't move, okay? He nods weakly. It's not a lot of blood, but with a body as small as his, it wouldn't take much for him to pass out. I stand up and nervously head through the doorway, not sure what to expect. What kind of rig was this anyway? It doesn't look like any power grid I've seen before. The sounds of construction and murmuring voices echo around me, too distorted to make out any specific words. Hello? Anyone? Nothing. Sighing, I look back at Hero one last time before walking away. He seems to be stable, a bit sweating profusely. I head down a narrow path, passing rows and rows of bolted metal doors. Could this be a naval vessel? I try knocking on a few, but there's no response. Maybe they're unoccupied passenger cabins? Hello? My yell echoes like a church bell down the hall. I finally hear someone reply with a confused grunt. Over here, someone needs medical attention. A badger pokes his head around a hallway and points at his ears, shaking his head. Was Fuck. Another guy speaking German. Look, Hero needs help. Hero. I use my hands to mimic his big ears and the badger nods in recognition. He waves dismissively and turns to walk away. Where are you going? Hey! I know he understood what I meant. What kind of place is this? Even if they're not friends, he should have at least tried to help. Oh right, I need to find Fritz. Hero must trust the guy if he specifically asked for him. I start jogging towards the path the badger greeted me from and turn to see. That. Metallic platforms that weave and interlock into each other, connected loosely by zigzagging staircases that stretch down into infinity. Whatever vessel I'm on is inside of an even bigger room, composed of thousands of unrefined steel girders and spotlights. Some workers walk across multi-level walkways while others operate cranes and other machinery down below. There's so many of them. How are these things not collapsing? It's then that the scale of this place hits me. This is a warehouse big enough to house a ship, and there's still extra space. Craning my head, I can see that whatever this thing is has been suspended from the ceiling by thick metal cables. So we're not on the ground. The ground suddenly zooms away from me as my stomach lurches. How many feet up are we? How many stories? And I was just leaning over a flimsy rail, standing on an even flimsier walkway. I feel the entire structure shake as people below me go up and down the stairs. Just imagining setting foot on them makes my knees buckle, and I back up against the wall. Fuck that. I feel my body become paralyzed with fear yet again. I'm so pathetic. How am I supposed to help Hero when I can't even stand? I cover my eyes and rock myself back and forth. Come on. Get up. Get up. He needs you. A sharp inhale, a slow sigh. I'm back on my feet. What year is this? I'm not too sure, Bio. It hasn't stated yet. I can check the timeline for you. Let's see. Yes, this game does have a timeline to make things a little bit more clear. It seems the furthest it goes back is 1860, and the farthest it goes forward is 1990. As of now, we do not know what time period it currently is. This is when we met Virgil, March 1928. Don't look. Just feel your way back inside. That's the doorway, and these are the bolts along the wall. Once I feel I've shuffled a sufficient distance away from the door, I crack an eye open. Phew. Okay. So I've wound up in my own personal nightmare. I can deal with this. Especially after what happened with Virgil, he's got to be connected to this somehow. Fritz. Find Fritz. I wander down the opposite hallway, passing by more bolted doors. Okay, so this is after... Then, holy... This man. He needs to leave now. I think I get what you're getting at, Bio. And yeah, the implication doesn't sound good. There are little name cards crudely affixated to each one, all in German. Thankfully, we mostly share an alphabet. I'm able to guess how most of these are pronounced. Captain is captain. Ingenieur sounds like enough like engineer. Steward, is O. That's another shared word. I should start writing these down, haha. Suddenly, a dark thought arises. Could this be enemy territory? Could some rogue members of the Central Powers have infiltrated America? If so, why now? And how could they build something like this without anyone noticing? There's no way this could have been privately funded. Father told me the Reichsmarks was in the toilet. He only worked with von Baumbach's company because he could buy land there for pennies. If I remember, that was a short-lived venture to boot. In the end, Mr. Dolson took over that deal. That would have been around the time Sam was... Right. Find Fritz. I keep scanning the doors, but none of them display his name outright. I might need to use some context clues here. Which door should I knock on? Klisch? Wanderschrank? Or engineer? Well, Whatever the spicy Germans are building is not something we want to see or be a part of. Yes, I agree, Bio. Well, seeing as Hero is an engineer, and he specifically asked for Fritz, I'm gonna take a gander, I say in air quotation marks, and pick the bottom one. Well, Hero said he's an engineer, so Fritz is probably in the same department. That's all I have to go on. Well, here goes nothing. I swallow my pride and knock, the metal door reverberating loudly in the small chamber. A few seconds pass before I hear the sound of talons clacking towards the door. Tuck tuck, tuck tuck. Was? An opossum? ¿Qué joven se engupa? Oh, Ensislugin. Sí, Americane. He clears his throat and gives me a subtle grin, as much as one can with a beak. I am Fritz Ackerland. Fritz English is limited. Apologies. I could almost cry. Finally, someone I can communicate with. My current mission takes priority. Best be upfront before I can get caught up in playing 20 questions. Okay, look, I'll explain later, but Hero needs your help. He's bleeding really bad and... Hero? Shit, he did it again, did he? He mutters to himself in German. We don't have time for this. I grab his arm and start pulling him towards the engine room. Alright, Fritz gets it. He breaks from my grip and struts alongside me. His long legs far out past mine, and soon I'm the one jogging to keep up. Fritz ducks through a small door I somehow missed, and we end up in a room full of twisted pipes and valves. Shortcut. Okay. How did you get here, Possum? I said I'd explain later. We burst into the engine room at the same time, getting stuck for a moment before he pushes me forward with a feathery palm. Achtung, Fritz must help to improve your German. This guy. I look up and see Hero lying right where I left him. Another set of weights is lifted and I breathe a sigh of relief. Hero, are you? In a flash of black, Fritz steps over me and is already at his side, carefully examining him. The bird tugs Hero's shirt down and peels a few bandages away. Hero's body shudders and he yelps in pain. Hey! Hush. His bedside manner leaves a lot to be desired. I hope this was the right choice. Hero's breathing is slowed, but not abnormal. Possum, what happened to cause this? I give him a brief retelling, skipping over the parts that don't make sense to anyone, including me. And then we lowered that big lever together. Fritzy. He sighs, staying quiet for a long time. Possum? Yes? Hero underwent surgery about 2 weeks ago. It seems he pushed himself too hard. His stitches popped. I had gathered that much. I can't imagine what kind of surgery it could have been if it was across his entire chest. The thought to inquire further lingers. But it isn't really any of my business, nor is it important right now. You must have a doctor aboard this vessel, right? We need to get Hero to. It's pointless. Huh? Why? Now this guy is starting to piss me off. He rolls his eyes and pulls out a tiny flask, struggling to unscrew it with his silky feathered fingers. Hero was informed by the team that he was a liability. We told him to not come to work until his wounds healed. In fact, it was in the Fox's contract. I don't understand. Fritz pops the cap open and soaks a handkerchief with whatever's inside. Company will refuse to treat Hero. Hero violated terms of foreign working agreement. What? But he's risking his life for them. My hands are balled into fists. I can feel my claws start to dig into my palm. Yes, but that is not our problem. Company did not ask Hero to push himself past Hero's limits. He places the rag against Hero's bandages and starts to writhe in pain, tail flaying wildly and his feet kicking in the air. Herbal tonic, alcohol will help disinfect wounds. All I can do is watch helplessly until he stops. I can tell Hero is holding back tears. Fritz is sure you notice. Hero isn't a native. What, so you don't want to waste your company resources on a non-German? This is exactly the kind of rhetoric my father used when he sent injured workers away to public hospitals. Hero isn't even a labor race, just a foreign. Fritz knows it is selfish. He finishes tending to Hero and stands up, tossing the bloodied rag into a waste bin. Fritz isn't in charge. Fritz only has control of engineering department. That means Hero is your charge. You need to take responsibility. Possum is correct. I'm shocked that he agreed with me for once. I'm so not going to let him off easy. Tell me how to help him. And it did go down the toilet. During this time, Germany was still trying to recover from not only the Great Depression, but their own depression after World War I. Okay, I see. Alrighty. Thank you, Bio. Damn it. If they won't treat him here, tell me where to find the doctor who performed the surgery to begin with. Surely he must have told you where to contact him. Her. Fine. Her. He strokes his chin, staring into the distance for a minute. All I can focus on is Hero's pain breathing and my own trembling. He nods to himself, snapping to get my attention. Alright, listen carefully. I nod. He waves me over to look past the main turbine. I creep over, not wanting to be reminded of our current evaluation. Look. He points out into the warehouse. A giant panel has been raised, leading to the outside. Uh-huh. No, look. What else am I supposed to see? I know avians have good eyesight. There really is nothing special out there. I strain my eyes to get a better angle, moving closer before the feeling of vertigo overtakes me again. I grip the side of the inlet as hard as I can, putting on a brave face. Leap from that side, then follow the dirt path until it splits. Go right towards the forest. Okay, this is important. When you get to the forest, keep walking straight. Do not take any detours. Easy enough. Bows. Yes, our great Bio, the historian. He leans in to look at me, his expression deathly serious. Fritz is not joking. I know. If you follow instructions, you should arrive at the Arbeitsstadt. The what? How would you say, the workers' dwelling. Ah, if they have their own word for it, I'm expecting some sort of shanty town. Hero is staying there for time being, so is Hero's surgeon. Alright, I got it. He turns to the fox, switching back to German. Hero, denkst du, kannst laufen, kann, bring dich not Hass? I hear him grunt before sitting up, hissing in pain as he clutches his chest. Ja, ich not like. Communication is corpse problem. Ja. Here, let me help you. I rush over and put my arm under his. He twitches in pain again and I apologize under my breath. You okay? I notice when he speaks English, he mimics my accent. He must be picking it up from me bit by bit. What a smart cookie. I really want to talk with him again, like we did in the Golden Place. That thought makes me start to tear up again, and I shake them away, determined to complete my new mission. Fritz. He cocks his head. Thank you. Bastard. I guess my expression belays my real thoughts. He smirks and tips his hat. Sorry, truly. We slowly trot out into the hallway. It takes me some time to sync up to his faster walking pace, but soon we're moving as a unit. He clears his throat, and I brace myself to start picking apart German again. Hey. Shit, there's nothing in that sentence I can parse. I gently grasp his hand in mine and stick my pointer finger out, nodding for him to mimic me. He picks up on it and turns us around, pointing at what seems like a dead end. Huh? He sucks his teeth and pulls us in that direction, gesturing towards a crank in the wall. Still not getting it, he holds his hands above his head, wincing in pain. Fighting through it, he turns his palm downwards, with his fingers pointing upward. He then pushes down slowly, making little ticking sound with his tongue. Oh, that's an elevator? I'm used to those having doors, sorry. He nods and smiles, happy I figured it out. No more lifting your arms though, okay? You're only going to hurt yourself more. Achtung. He nods again, and we step onto the platform. He twirls his finger counterclockwise, signaling which way I need to turn the crank. Here goes nothing. I place him against the wall and give it a jerk, needing both hands to really get it going. Soon I hear the gears start to grind against each other, and the floor creaks. Hey. Waschmaschine? See? Eh? Before I can realize it, the platform falls. I can feel my balls in my stomach as we careen 10 feet down before it abruptly stops. The safety of the walls around us give way to naked beams and girders, and Hero leaps forward just in time, landing flat on his stomach. Oh! That one is universal. Sorry, little guy. I'm sorry, I didn't know. As I help him, I suddenly realize we're suspended in midair. Oh! Scheiße! Till Otter, I didn't realize that you followed me 9 minutes ago. I'm sorry. Thank you for the follow. I just now saw that notification. As I help him up, I suddenly realize we're suspended in mid-air without any protection. That instinctual fear takes hold of me again, and I sit perfectly still in the middle of the platform. I feel Hero wrap a hand around my waist, hugging me tightly. Thanks. He smiles, pointing to the tiny illustration emblazoned on the metal panel underneath the crank. Though the text is in German, there are a few crudely drawn stick figures depicting safety measures. I see, so the platform only lowers as many times as you turn the crank. That explains why we fell so fast. I rotated the bevel too fast and the locking mechanism couldn't keep up. We go slow. His emphasis on that last word told me all I needed to know. After collecting myself, I turned the crank 1/4 at a time. It takes about 2 minutes to reach the bottom, but it was still much faster and safer than those rickety stairs. What would this place be? It would probably be for the German war machine, since in this time, in the 30s, it would be... No, he said enemy. This is mid-war? Must be. But nothing of this scale was made, only put on paper and thought up. That's a good point, Bio. I'm beginning to wonder if maybe this takes place in an alternate history. Maybe, since Virgil did send us forward in time. I'm not sure. And it seems like Gray's father was also helping the Germans out back in long ago. As far as we know, that is correct, Proto. As we step off the platform, a couple of other workers rush over to us, clearly concerned. Jaspen, say, Johan. American. Hey. Wouldn't it be cool if we found out that there was an operation like this? Maybe, kinda partially. I guess, would it be cool if their intentions were good, or would it be cool if their intentions were bad? I guess you're probably referring to the near World War II era, so probably they wouldn't be good intentions. Dank, Francesca. I have to assume they're at least concerned. It's hard to tell with Germans. From what I remember of the ones who visited Father's workshops, they seemed very cold. Maybe that's just affluent people? Is that how I came off to people back then? Hero tugs my shirt to continue, and I wave the workers off as we head towards the exit. A few more people wave at us as we walk by. I guess Hero's got more friends here than just Fritz. If you can even call that a friendship. Once we're out of earshot, I hear Hero giggling to himself. What's so funny, Hero? Ah. He apologizes in advance, so I assume more Japanese is coming my way. Uh-huh. Huh? I try in English. German's compliment is like... He pauses to think and then looks at me smiling sarcastically. Mother-in-law's blessing. Talk about an experience that transcends borders. Hero's a funny guy when he wants to be. Mother-in-law's blessing. Okay. I mean, the war's over now. Yeah. Oh, you mean, okay, after the war. Talk about an experience that transcends borders. Hero's a funny guy when he wants to be. We'll get him nursed back to health in no time. Then I'll take all the time we need to learn to communicate. Surely there's more English speakers where we're going, right? Where is here anyway? The Germans were, dreamers. They were famous for it. Things like the Mass tank or the rocket plane with the fuel and oxidizer right next to each other in different tank with thin metal. One shot and that plane goes poof. Oh, wow. I have a feeling Bio's going to be a big help, at least, with this route. That way, if I come across anything that seems like it feels out of context or I don't fully grasp what it's trying to tell me, I'll at least have Bio here to kind of shed some light on that more intricate kind of information. The light from the exit is blinding compared to the dark and dingy warehouse, but I can hear the sounds of nature amongst general chatter. Before we exit, I turn back to see what exactly the monstrosity we were on was. Oh, Zeppelin. Right? Is that right, Bio? Was it called the Zeppelin? My dad's told me about these. Is that a Zeppelin? Yeah. Huh, from this far away, it's not nearly as intimidating. I always admired them as a child. I was so disappointed when Father pulled out of that deal. He brought me back a little tin replica of what was the final ship was supposed to look like. It was my favorite toy in the whole world. Yep, they were. Nice. Far too precious to bring with me to the city. I bet it's still in my room, hidden under that floorboard. My nostalgia is interrupted by someone yelling, in English no less. No, no, no. Christ almighty, I see why he was so hesitant to work with your crots. Let it be noticed, I didn't. They took the place of Plains of God, the Hindenburg. I should state, I don't at all condone what this man, loud voice said. I was just reading off what was said on the text. I should mention that. That voice. No, it's been too long. Gray? Come. Right. We head down the dirt path. I repeat Fritz's instructions over and over until it becomes a rhythmic chant. The area surrounding the warehouse can only be described as wilderness. We're situated in a wide open valley beside a lake, with dense woodland surrounded by the perimeter. We pass some white tents set up next to giant stacks of wooden crates and raw material. It's a sight I'm all too familiar with. I hear that voice from before emanating out of one of the tents as we pass by. Something gets slammed, a yelp. I don't care if the fella turns up dead. You will find him. But we need where the original designer of these here blueprints was. It ain't negotiable. Or do I need to remind you who's funding this little project to begin with? No, sir. You're right. I shall ask her hands about it. Dandy. Now go and grab me a Pilsner. It's about all you're good for, anyhow. God, it's so familiar. Ooh. So, Bio, what is Hindenburg, if it's not something that's too bad to be said on stream? If it is, you can always send it to me in DMs. A sweaty polecat rushes out of the tent and runs past us, clutching some papers under his arm. I can briefly see inside the tent as the flap hangs it open. The face is obscured, but even from just the body he reminds me so much of Sam's father. A chill runs up my spine. It's impossible. I heard he died of consumption a few years back. Some kind of complication with his kidneys. There's no time for this. We have a long journey ahead of us. That the big one that burnt, right? Oh, okay. I follow the dirt path away from the compound like Fritz said, and just to get it out of the way, I'll see what we got in our notes. Admit 1. Letter of recommendation, foreign working contract. Zeppelin, Barlow, Delson, Conglomerate. Benefactor, Ackerland Fritz. Applicant, Yasuhiro. NA, meaning not advised or not... No, that's not what it means. It doesn't mean not advised. It just means that it's not available. Position, junior engineer, right turbine. List qualifications here. 10 months of mechanical experience related to auto engineering. Advanced understanding to auto. Engineering. Advanced understanding of electrical installation and installation. Basic understanding of German. Additional comments. I have personally observed Hiro, given name, work and have acted as his mentor figure during his time in Germany. He has a willingness to work against all odds. That is rare for a temp position. I have no doubt he'll be an invaluable asset to your project. Additionally, he is willing to work for half the rate of a local, if that sweetens the pot any. Okay, so we know that Fritz recommended. Be right back. Alrighty. See you soon, Proto. I follow the dirt path away from the compound, like Fritz said. His instructions were deceptively simple. I mean, there's literally nothing else in any direction. I notice a few wagons parked outside the warehouse, but they'd only seat 1 or 2 people. Those must be for the higher ups. And before we do go any further, let's just see. On, off. Just making sure. I noticed a few wagons parked outside the warehouse, but they'd only seat 1 or 2 people. Those must be for the higher ups. Doubt they lived in that so-called workers' dwelling. There's probably another path that leads back to a proper town Fritz neglected to tell me about. Hindenburg was a Zeppelin, a bad one, the most famous one. It was completed and flew, but while refueling one day the fuel caught fire and the fire burned through the outer shell and ignited the hydrogen gas, keeping the... I don't know if I'm correct, Bio, but wasn't there like an old-timely video about a news reporter talking about the Zeppelin? And when it just goes up in flames, you can just hear him like just go into complete panic or distraught. I don't know if that's... I'm feeling like that's probably the same Zeppelin that burned, but yeah. Very horrible. Would they refuse to treat Hero there as well? What the hell has happened to society? We reach a steep incline and I place Hero in front of me, pushing him upwards as we walk so he doesn't stumble back. I keep my arms firmly planted on his lower waist to avoid putting any pressure on his chest. I was pretty distracted by everything going on in the Golden Place, but geez, this guy has some serious hips. I know foxes are curvy by nature, but combining that with Hero's musculature, he could probably crush my head like a watermelon between those thighs. Why is that thought turning me on? Yeah, keep your grubby hands off him. Possum. Sorry. It's been a long day. I don't think he'd feel me poking his tail, but I guess even fluffy tails feel sensations. Shame washes over me. I really am trying to control myself. It feels like something else is at play. A strange sensation suddenly comes over me. Some effervescent, diaphanous vapor fills my body and I feel lightheaded. My face becomes flushed and my thoughts get cloudy. What is this? It's coming from Hero. Below the waist. Why do I want to? I'm practically drooling. I want to... Gray. Huh? Oh god. I look down and see I'm gripping his backside. I am so sorry. I pull my hands away in shame, feeling sick to my stomach. What the fuck happened? It's not this base, am I? I'm not this base, am I? It's fine. Huh? How? He holds his arm bashfully, looking off into the distance. It always this. Not Gray fault. I don't understand. He rolls his eyes again. I feel so low. I walk behind. Okay, yes, whatever you want, Hero. I'm here to help him remember that. I apologize again and take the lead, letting him lean on my side as we continue towards the trees. Talk about an awkward introduction. I never felt that way before. The only thing similar would have been the few times me and Simone had drunk sanks, and those memories were hazy to begin with. All I remember was how hungover we were the morning after. Simone. Etten. I'm coming home once I figure out where we are. I'll apologize a million times. I'll do anything it takes. Even if they never want to see my face again, I'm coming back. Soon we reach the fork Fritz mentioned. It really is just a rudimentary dirt road. There aren't even any signs of markings to indicate what leads where. Well, he said to go right, so we're going right. Hero nods, confirming that we're going the correct way. The path goes over a few more hills before we get to the edge of the forest. An autumnal wash of red and orange colors the environment before us, the sounds of nature growing louder as we approach. Wait. I lean Hero against a tree and pick a particularly pretty leaf off of the ground. That's strange. Oak trees are deciduous, aren't they? These are already turning red, yet spring's hardly begun. Nothing about this is right. I don't remember learning about any trees native to the area that are red all year long. Come to think of it, there's a dry chill in the air that's more indicative of autumn than spring. Could a significant amount of time have passed after we were sent to the Golden Place? My friends would have spent the last 7 or 8 months searching for me, and have likely given up by now. I can't blame them if they did. I find myself weakly leaning against a tree. The bark pokes into my flesh, but I hardly notice. Hey, it's not so bad, Gray. What do you know? Don't cry. Easy for you to say. I hear him growl. Something hits me in the back of the head, splintering into pieces upon impact. Hey. I turn around to see him wielding a second pine cone menacingly. A slip of a smile poking through. If you cry, I cry. Then nothing get done. When we safe, we cry. Being sad, okay, but not now. Right. Sorry. Shit. Sorry. I walk back over to help him up, brushing shards of pinecone off of my head. He shoots me $1,000 smile and we continue onward. Thank God I'm not alone. This whole ordeal is stressful enough. And it seems like communicating is getting easier. He must be a savant when it comes to learning languages to switch dialects so effortlessly. Even if his German and English are rudimentary, it's enough to get him this far. The Zeppelin company doesn't realize what a great asset they have under their belt. Hero. Fritz said to just go straight ahead, no detours, is that correct? He thinks for a moment before replying confidently. Yes, just one direction, no churn. It's a little hard to actually keep track of where we're going. There aren't any discernible landmarks and the sky is completely blocked out by the treetops. I try to see if there are any obvious walking paths or well-worn patches of dirt, but the ground is entirely covered by dead leaves. He could have been more detailed. Fritz, he'd do his best. It's hard to explain. I nod. He was adamant I don't stray from the path for a good reason. I'm sure of it. Welcome back, Proto. We were just walking with Hero, and earlier Gray did something questionable, but apologized profusely. And then he got hit in the head with a pine cone by Hero. The terrain becomes uneven as we pass over a stretch of unearthed tree roots, posed to perfectly trip an unsuspected hiker. For each, I need to carefully guide Hero's legs to avoid misstemming our steps and tripping over each other. Hey, Hero. Can you get on my shoulders? It'll be faster. I tap my shoulders and lowering myself, nodding for him to climb on. He kicks some leaves, hesitating to get on. What, would it hurt? No. Just feel like kid. Hero. I'm sure because of his height, he's often treated like a child. I even made that blunder myself before. Well, you got something between those legs that ain't kid size, right? Okay, Gray. He growls again. I mean, work with me here. He sighs, seemingly resigned to the situation. What did he do? What he's doing right now. Making unnecessary comments. Okay. He awkwardly climbs up my back, accidentally kicking me in the ribs with his boots as he pushes himself up to my shoulders. Oof. Maybe not accidentally after all, this guy. I slowly stand, making sure he stays balanced. He's thick, yes, but he couldn't weigh more than 70 pounds. His baggy clothes make him look bigger than he really is. This okay? He grunts in affirmation and we continue forward. Actually, fun fact, the Hindenburg was the reason that the airplane is the only form of air travel. Okay, I see. I didn't know that. With this arrangement, he's able to warn me about trip hazards I'd have missed. We work as a team, some sort of Frankenstein creature with two sets of eyes. It's actually Frankenstein's monster. I'm just kidding. He grips my head with his thighs anytime he wants me to stop, and taps his boots on my chest when it's safe to keep going. Every now and then, traces of that feeling from earlier poke through, but the smells and sensations of the forest are too distracting for me to really focus on it. The damp earth, the rotting leaves, I even smell the distant traces of a campfire coming from somewhere, but it's impossible to pinpoint. Hero will occasionally rub my head or playfully tug my ears. He's a curious fellow, that's for sure. From everyone's reaction, I doubt there are any other possums in the area. I guess that makes us both outcasts. A twig snaps under my heel and suddenly the leaves around us shiver like I've undone something. Hello? Is that Jaman? What? Hero quickly covers my mouth with his hands, tugging my head back to make me stop. We're not alone. A man. His voice bounces between the trees in a disorienting pattern, becoming increasingly shrill with each echo. I tap Hero's hand, making a hush gesture to indicate we should whisper. He nods, cautiously removing them. Hero, do you know what he's saying? No. He takes a moment before continuing. His voice, too busy. Busy? Too many noise. Damn. There must be too much going on in between the forest and this mystery voice for Hero to translate. We stay away from him, okay? I nod. Alright, just focus on everything else. I'll keep going forward. He readjusts himself on my shoulders and I resume our slow pace through the woods. I avoid every potential crunchy leaf as if it would break my mother's back were I to step on one. So far so good. I'm annoyed that it'll take even longer to get to the village now. Hero's been stable so far, but we can't risk any chance of infection. Come to think of it, how do they perform any operations in a place as rural as this? I doubt this worker settlement has a fully fledged hospital. Could it have been self-inflicted? No. Hero's tough, but nobody could perform surgery on their own body and stay sane. Either way, I have a million questions for this doctor of his. Out of nowhere, a rush of panic hits me in the chest and I freeze. A sound with no sound plays in my ears. Some invisible pressure that's making it impossible to focus. I strain to listen past it. All I can hear is the wind blowing through the trees, a noisy bullfrog, and the man's occasional shouting. What? Hero's ears twitch, and he winces in pain. I can tell he's experiencing the same sensation. Or if that man's voice specifically, or if it's that man's voice specifically that bothers him. What's wrong? He takes a few shallow breaths before replying in a hushed voice. Hero doesn't like man's voice. Yeah, it's pretty loud. He shakes his head. It sounds fake. Recorded. Huh? Stop walking. I do as he says. We hold our breath and listen for 10 seconds, 20 seconds. At first it sounds completely normal, but after a while I can hear the same phrases being repeated in a cycle. The man's inflection and emphasis on certain vowels are the exact same each time. Even his seemingly random whimpering plays in the same place before starting up the same dialogue again. Something about hearing clearly human speech reduced in this way sends a chill up my spine. There's no two ways about it. It isn't natural. I strain my voice to be as quiet as possible, knowing Hero can hear me just fine. What in God's name is that? He replies with a deep growl in his native tongue. From his tone alone, I can tell it makes him deeply uncomfortable. We should... Suddenly, everything goes dead quiet. Even the sounds of nature become muted as a hush falls over us. I guess it was nothing? Then something bright flashes in my peripheral vision. Fire? I turn my head, but we can see you. We can all see you. This time it sounded as if it were right behind us. I instinctively leap around, tripping over my own feet. It spoke in English. No, not English, but directly to my brain, and not with words. With a hum. Bird song. It tickles under my skull. It makes me want to rip my own head apart to claw at it. I stumble, falling backward towards the ground. Hero leaps off last second, landing on his shoulder with a cry of pain. Expecting to land on soft earth, I feel a searing pain as my head connects with an exposed tree root, hiding under some leaves. Everything doubles, then triples. The dizziness is overwhelming. Gray? The buzz in my ear starts to fade, and I can hear Hero slowly dragging himself towards me. I try to stand, but everything is still spinning. The light shining through the tree swirls in hypnotic circles, making it impossible for my eyes to focus. Hero? The initial pain starts to dull, and I roll onto my stomach. He managed to fall so far from me. Then the voices begin to creep back into focus. A chorus singing different parts of the same song all at once. Silly boy, naively entering our wood without a tribute. Unless you intend to leave the fox. At this rate, I'm going to go mad. My brain feels like it's about to expand past my skull. No! Using all of my strength, I push myself off the ground and stumble to my feet. The world stops spinning, but darkness creeps at the edges of my vision as blood rushes to my head. No. They laugh at me. I can't tell if it's pity or amusement. Maybe somewhere in between. Ah, the seed of the wolf. Those who heed not the elder's wisdom are quick to perish in mine wood. They're everywhere now, hundreds, thousands. Buzzing like insects. It's overwhelming. I'm buffeted by their tiny bodies on every side. I have to get out of here. I can't handle this. I can't handle this. I can't handle this. I can't handle this. Run. Branches hit my face. No pain. Almost fell. Falling means death. I don't want to die. Not here. Another ditch, I'm falling. Hill, I messed up. Rolling down. No way back. Just find the settlement, then we can... We? I left him. Fuck. I left him to die. They're going to get him. Hero. I'm sorry. You wanted to live. I didn't want to die, I'm sorry. Sharp branches are poking through my shirt. Rubble is embedded in my paws. Pain means we're alive. You're alive. I'm alive, god damn it. Fight for it. I went through all of this, all of the hell Virgil put me through, so I can fucking live. Fight. Just leave me the fuck alone. It stopped. Thank God it finally stopped. I need to go back for him. He's depending on me. He'll be okay. I know, Bio. My eyes slowly adjust as I push myself up off the ground. I fell really far, right? Oh, it's a little hobbit house. But everything here is still level. The trees are really tall and straight. So straight that I move my head too quickly, they give me vertigo. This is weird. There's something else here, nestled in the bedrock of shale behind me. A hut? A small wooden. Someone's house. Lights are on. Someone's home? What is it doing out here? Something is pulsing behind that door. I can feel it. It's calling to me. The lights are so soft, so warm. When did I get so cold anyway? But why all this for me? Why not you, eh? You again. Aye, so you remembered. Promising lad. What do you want? Go inside to cot. Come on, don't make me beg. Fine. I wanted to do that anyway. It's his. Voice is so friendly. Like someone I'd known all my life. Or maybe we only met once, in passing. But he was so warm it stuck with me. I don't trust this feeling despite acknowledging it. As I crawl towards the hut, the door creaks open on its own. That's it. Easy, girl. Don't get smart with me. Something is glowing on the ground inside, but it's blurry, brighter than the lamps. I inch towards the entrance. As soon as I cross the threshold, something grips me. A ghostly hand has its fingers hooked around my skeleton and is dragging me forward, but I let it. This warmth is too precious. We would perish without it. Keep going, lad. Alright, for you. Crawl for it. I do. I can feel it before it comes into focus. The intense heat wafting from it. A red-hot branding iron sitting in the hearth of the fireplace. It blazes as bright as any fire, refusing to cool. I admire its defiance. Grab it. But how? There are some smithing gloves set beside it. Don't know how I missed them before. Silly me. I slide them on. They were practically made to fit me. Go on then. I roll up my sleeves and cautiously reach out towards it. Even with the glove, the heat starts to singe my forearms. Ow. Nothing in life comes without a little pain, lad. My eyes tear up as the heat wafts up in my face. I turn the iron between my hands to inspect its odd design. Just a simple diamond, no initials or monogram. That's it. Got a good handle for it now? I nod. It smiles. Put it on your tongue. You will do it, won't you? My hands tremble. Beads of sweat stream down my face and mix with my tears. But I do as I'm told. My mouth opens. My tongue peeks out. That's it. Why am I... No. I'm doing this because I want to. Of course you do, Gray. Just a few more inches. The heat alone is already drying out my tongue. I don't dare rush it. I go millimeter by millimeter until I can no longer see it past my snout. Any second now. Yeah, I don't think I can do that scream. The fat and muscle that used to be my tongue bubbles like raw meat on the grill. The smell of cooked flesh fills my nostrils and I double over. My mind is blank, blinded by the searing pain. I feel the heat start to invade the roof of my mouth, traveling up the veins in my nose towards my eyes. No more. My body reacts on its own. I let go of the iron. It dangles from my open mouth, fused to my tongue for a moment, before clattering to the ground. I spit out burnt chunks of my own flesh, then curl into a little black spiral. They curl into little black spirals as they cool. A splitting headache pushes past the old pain, now dulling into apathetic numbness. I know, Proto, what the heck? Why did I do that? Again? Good show, lad. Past the pulsing in my ears, I can make out the faint sound of clapping. Bastard. I did what you wanted. The debt is owed. Oh, my mistake, Poss. That ain't the favor I was positing before. Then why? 'Twas a gift. You'll be needing that if you want to go any further, lad. I'm putting my faith in you, so consider this a sign of my loyalty. Head hurts. I don't understand. When the time comes to collect on that favor, I'll be sure to do it in person. But until then, just remember, I hear someone shuffle to their feet. Is he really in the room with me? Todd was always keeps his word. Cheerio, love. Wait. Huh? I shoot up, rubbing my face with both hands. Everything's fine. Hello? No response. I take a few seconds to test out a few sounds, even running a finger along the length of my tongue. Aside from a slightly rough patch where the brand connected, everything has healed. Only my memories remain as proof this happened. The iron is gone, too. Am I finally losing it? That train of thought is broken by that loud voice from before. Great. Him again. Help me. Wait, what? I strain my ears. Possum. There's no doubt about it. He's speaking English now. I shoot up. Everything feels normal again. No weird voices. No strange looping dialogue. Fuck. Hero. I jump to my feet and rush to the door, nearly tripping over myself. Hero? Hero? Notes. Hey lad, remember our deal? I'll come knocking when the time comes. If you're ever looking for me, try the woods again. This is it. If you got the stones for it. I've completely lost my sense of direction. Was this what Fritz was warning me about? He could have been a little more specific, like, mentoring the goddamn mob of voices. I stop and try to calm down. Okay, so I fell over the cliff that the hut was under. Let's find a natural path that leads back up there. Spotting a good-looking branch, I use both my arms to twist it off as the base. Not the finest walking stick in the world, but it'll do. Grandma always said that ripping off the branches of a tree is like removing their arms. But after what I've been through, I think she'd give me a pass. I plot a wide circle around the cliff, using it as my guide to hopefully find a steady slope back to the upper level of the forest. As okay as I feel now, I have to climb a sheer rock, while I'd be too worn out to keep carrying Hero. I keep calling out to him occasionally, only ever getting that loud man's cries in response. Who's Hero? My name's Atri. Come on, I know you can understand me. I'm serious. This isn't a game. You are American, right? I can tell by your accent. A nation under God. You're a brother in Christ, aren't you? For the love of... Matthews 5:420. 42, I mean. Give to the one who begs from you, and do not refuse the one who would borrow from you. As if that's gonna work on me anymore. Alright. I guess it is kind of fucked up to just ignore someone asking for help. God damn it. Even as a longtime apostate Christian, guilt still works every fucking time. Alright. I'm coming. Oh. Like I said before, this is an adult game, and I just want to make sure that the Not safe for work content is turned off. Thank God. Thank you. God be praised. Just follow my voice, as if I haven't been hearing it nonstop for the last 20 minutes. This clearing is too wide open. His voice is echoing even worse than before. It's impossible to tell what direction it's coming from. I'll need more than that. Can you give me a landmark? What? A landmark. I feel like an ass shouting so loudly in this tranquil place. Oh, I can see a really tall tree in front of me. What kind? Some kind of view, maybe? A what? Oh, it's still green. Must be conifere. That's right. Hero threw that pine cone at me earlier, so there must be some evergreens in this forest. It should be easy to spot since most of these trees are already starting to churn. Stay put, I'm on my way. Way ahead of you, brother. Let's see, pine trees are most likely to grow at higher elevations, so he's likely in that direction. I need to be going anyway. I hike on, continuing in a circle until I spot a lightly trodden path, heading up a slope. Bingo. My walk turns into a brisk jog, and I use my stick to propel myself further every few steps. How unfortunate. Yes. I can feel the air grow colder as the path arrives. Soon I can see a bend as it curves into itself, the cliff's edge, only a few meters away now. I did it. Artie, can you hear me? Yes, you sound closer now. His voice is practically booming. He has to be a visible distance from me now. I look up and can see a slip of green behind the canopy of red oaks, that way. I'm heading towards you, keep talking, okay? Okay. He starts singing obnoxiously off-key, clashing horribly with the gentle song of the birds above. Consider this my one righteous deed for the year. I dash towards the swatting branches away with my walking stick. A few lash back and whip my face, but I barely register it. He sounds like he's right next to me, only a bit further. Just to play it safe, we're transitioning. Artie, I'm here. Okay. Just for this little point, it's going to be entirely read by me, because even with the content off, it's still a little too saucy for stream. What? Oh, you're here. Thank God. I thought you were those voices playing tricks on me again. But wow, that was fast. Thanks again, brother. I have so many questions. Oh, I suppose I should have mentioned my predicament. Apologies. If you could just cut this rope, I can explain it to you much more comfortably. Okay. On a better day, I had left him in this position a little longer. Right, I'm in a rush. Alright, let me just find a sharp rock or something. There should be a hunting knife in my satchel. It's right over there. Right over here. He nods towards his underside. Of course. There's really no way to do this that wouldn't look compromising. Good thing it's just us two. Sorry. You're fine. I squat down and try to reach for it without looking, doing my best to hide my reddening cheeks from his view. That's not it. Further down. Oh God. There, I got it. I snatch it and fling it open in one swift motion, churning my whole body away from him in shame. Okay, got the knife, phew. I stand over him and gently push the tip of the blade between his wrists, carefully sawing upward. Almost, there. Now we can switch over even if it is still. The screen? Yes, I just wanted to make sure it was safe for general viewing. Which even now, it still really isn't. But it's censored. So Twitch can't get mad at me. The sliced rope falls to the ground and Ashri quickly stands upright, stretching until his shoulders pop. His fur is thin enough in places I can see his skin stretch over his chiseled muscles. If I didn't know any better, I'd say this was the half-baked setup to some sleazy adult picture. That's so much better. Thanks so much. Don't mention it. Man, that's not a position you want to find yourself in for a long time. Ah, I know what you're thinking. Why are you still naked? Yes, technically safe. How did you end up in such a predicament, Artie? That too, I guess. Hey, Artie? Yes? Could you put your clothes back on now? This is a little awkward. He chuckles heartedly, taking a few seconds for the meaning of my words to sink in before gasping dramatically. Oh heavens. I'm so sorry. I'm just used to walking around like this, so I didn't realize it could be such a distracting predicament for any potential companions. Companions? Yes, well, if I had a body like yours, I'd likely be parading it around as well. He flashes a prideful grin before bending over to pick up his clothes, accidentally mooning me again. Now that the shock's worn off, I realize the oddity of this whole predicament. Hey, how did you get tied up anyway? I see why they gave Mans that surprised expression. Yeah. Hey, how did you get tied up anyway? And who painted that X on you? Huh? He tries to twist his long neck round to look at his ass, knocking his horns against a tree trunk and falling over. This guy's a few acorns short of an oak tree. Well, at least I got to see it flop around one last time. Shaking off the dizziness, he quickly puts his clothes on. If I didn't know any better, I'd say he just walked off. A stage production of Robin Hood. He takes care, setting a very real hunting bow around his torso. You came out here to hunt. Aye, father sent me to fetch some quail for supper. Alas, the fairies must have been feeling extra playful today. A particularly spiritedly one managed to get past my defenses and, well, you saw how she left me. Fairies, huh? Okay, so maybe he is playing the part of the famous thief after all. I can deal with this brand of crazy at least. Just like talking to Grandma all over again. He nods. This subject matter is completely mundane to him, it seems. But good lord, she was a spectacular lay. I might have to let myself get tricked more often. I see that monster start to tent up in his pants and try to change the subject. Right, haha, those darn tricky fairies. Luckily they weren't the murderous sort. I think I might have run through a patch of angry ones earlier when I was with my... Shit, hero. Huh? I scramble around the clearing trying to find any signs of him. I was with someone else. We got separated. He's very hurt. We need to get back to the village, to a doctor. He gathers the rest of his things and trots behind me, quiet for the first time since we met. I try to retrace my steps, but everything during my freakout is a blur. Hero, can you hear me? I hold back any oncoming tears and round a bend. I see a slip of yellow and rush forward. Hero? Hero, are you? A sudden sharp pain on my nose. I look to see a pinecone at my feet. Yes, I can hear you. Me and every creature in this entire damn forest can hear you. Huh? What is it with these damn Westerners and speaking so loudly? My head will be ringing all night. He's speaking English. And perfectly. Is this what that Todd fellow meant back there? I rub my tongue against the roof of my mouth, so not used to the strange rough patches. I'll have to check out the damage in a mirror later. Hero? I don't know how to explain it to you, but I can understand you now. Huh? Really? His elation quickly turns into embarrassment and his ears lower in shame. Really? So you understood what I just said? Yep. My apologies. In case you haven't noticed, I've had a hell of a day. I'm not exactly my best self right now. You're fine. I'm just glad you're okay. I'm so sorry for dropping you earlier. I don't know what... He pushes himself up with a stick and limps past me, sizing up Atri with a skeptical glance. So you picked up the noisy fellow, did you? Well, he really needed help. He squints, his eyes clearly not convinced. Whatever was affecting his speech earlier was gone now. Chalk it up to an auditory hallucination we both shared. Fine, now come on, we have much... Ah! We both jump back in shock, Hero covering his ears again. I know that voice. The Asiatic fox from our village. You live there too? He rubs his chin, clearly proud of his deduction. How could I forget such a cuddly-looking fellow? Never did catch your name, but I suppose it's Hero. How brave, how glorious. Hero sighs, taking a moment to respond. It not Hero. Hero. Short for Yasuhiro. Okay. Huh? Why did his speech become stilted again? Atri cocks his head, not entirely understanding. It seems this one isn't as fluent as the two of us. You understood him when he was speaking that gobbly gook earlier, though I didn't know Americans could be polyglots. Haha. Oh, I see. I can understand both of their languages now, so if Hiro is speaking normally, it must be Japanese. His German will still be shaky no matter what, though. Bio? Do you understand what any of that gibberish Atri said was? Is it like some sort of bad language I shouldn't have said? Gray? We can use this to our advantage. I pull Hiro aside for a moment, speaking directly in his ear as quietly as possible. Hiro, from now on, if there's something you only want me to hear, say it in your language. I don't understand how any of this works, but alright, I trust you, Gray. I smile. Then Hiro from the golden places back. Sorry for interrupting, but we break our little football huddle and turn to face him again. It seems we're going the same way. If we continue safely, I suggest you two wear these. He digs into his satchel and produces some makeshift blindfolds, similar to what he was sporting. I didn't want to ask about it, but it is rather odd that he's managed to navigate the forest with them on. No. Why would we do that? It's hard enough walking around here. I can tell he's rolling his eyes underneath the mask, and he waggles a finger at us disapprovingly. Because this forest is chock full of meddling fae. They show you illusions to confuse you, make you stray off the path. I wear this so I can proudly march through these sacred grounds and perform my godly duties. Godly duties. Like shagging weird ladies and flashing possums. No wonder he couldn't catch any quail. This is a load of barnacles. Hey now, is he being sassy? Tell him I said that fairies are about as real as his chances of learning Japanese. Hero. What? It's true. The fur on Atri's neck bristles as his muscles tense up. I see. No need for a translation. I should have known, since he works on that infernal contraption in the valley. It's ungodly what these people are attempting. Man wasn't meant to fly. Even the sages of Greece understood that much. He knows planes exist, right? But alas, the land of Greece is but mere fiction. Okay, he probably doesn't. Globity just means that he didn't understand what was said. It's like you're speaking gibberish. Ah, okay. Thank you, Bio. It seems like Atri's probably not the smartest bunch. Regardless of your beliefs, please allow me to escort you both back to the village. It's not an easy path for the feeble and injured. Hiro nudges my side and gives me a resigned look. With nothing to lose, I hook my arm back around his and follow Atri's lead. Or is it Artie? Both of us are astounded at how swiftly he can move while blindfolded. He manages to avoid trip hazards with ease, even things we would normally miss. He'd occasionally pause and sniff the air for a few seconds before quickly darting in a seemingly random direction. Fritz told us to go straight, but Atri's leading us in a winding path. Could he have been wrong? Or is this actually a straight path and something is messing with us? The land of Grice. I try to cover my eyes and walk a few steps blind. You can't be serious. So far, so good. If I can keep this up, maybe I'll... Oof! And I walk straight into Atri's back. Who goes there? He sniffs around before chuckling, bumping me back with his ass. Ah, watch yourself, Mr. American. This is a bumpy road. Sorry. I hear Hiro scoff under his breath as he tugs my shirt, signaling me to lend an ear. The sky is leading us in circles. I've taken this route many times by now, and it's straight walk, just as Fritz said. And nothing like that noise from earlier ever happened? What noise? His incessant shouting? No, come on. You know what I'm talking about. Those crazy buzzing voices. I get yanked back. He stopped walking. You heard them, right? There's no way. You hear everything. I didn't hear anything like that, Gray. Fuck. He must think I've dropped him and ran for no reason. Hiro, I swear I wouldn't make that up. Not after what we've been through. We? You know, in the Golden Place. Shit, no. Please tell me you know who I am. You're... Gray. Yes, and you know that because... His eyes dart around, searching for an answer. I don't know, I just do. He kicks the ground, frustrated at his lack of reasoning. Are you sure you didn't mention it when we first met? Positive. And you didn't react to me knowing your name either. I can't come up with an explanation. Maybe because you sort of look like our... No, that's impossible. Huh? And besides, he sighs deeply and smiles at me, melting away my anxiety. Something tells me we're supposed to have met. I feel like I already know you too. Not very scientific. Maybe not, but I'm comfortable with you already. Hiro. More comfy than usual for a stranger, and a Westerner to boot. I'm sure being in these foreign lands makes him feel pretty isolated at times. At least we can finally communicate properly. If you two are done making weird sounds, we're here. Already? Huh, so he wasn't hopeless after all. Told you. Guess he understands Hiro's tone well enough. He ducks past some low trees and we follow one at a time. As I guide Hiro over the branches, I notice his cuts are covered in dirt and debris. Is this like a reincarnation or something? You know, I'm not too sure, Proto. They haven't really specified what's happening. It seems like we were just transported how many years into the future. And it also seems like we're in Germany too, so we were transported both in time and space. Shit, must have been from the fall. It's okay. I doubt it's been long enough for an infection to start. But either way, Petra's gonna give me hell for this. That the doctor? Odd name. Yes, it suits her perfectly, I'm afraid. I ponder that as we emerge from this forest, stepping onto a familiar dirt road. It's almost as if someone had made an exact copy of the road leading into the woods. and plopped it down at the exit with no intention for either to meet in the middle. Autry removes his blindfold, wincing at the harsh light from the setting sun. Ah, sweet freedom. Now I can get a good look at you two. He dramatically leans forward to look down at Hero, smirking. Well, I already knew this one, so nothing new here. Very cute, as always. Grr. That leaves. He turns to me, nearly blinding me with his antlers. Ah, what are you supposed to be? I am a possum. Is that some kind of rodent? Marsupial. My, this world is full of so much diversity. Well, whatever you are, you're a handsome creature. Good on you, Mr. Gray. Well, at least he knows how to lay on the charm. He just needs to work on his volume. Thanks. Now come on, we need to find this Petra person. It's down this way. Ugh. He clutches his chest and falls to his knees. Hero? His bandages are slick with blood again. This is bad. Autry looks petrified. That's too bad. I'll need his help. Autry. Yes? Help me. Of course. I prop Hero up from behind, careful not to lift him by the armpits. I'll hold up this end, you carry him by the legs. We need to make sure there's no tension on his chest. I gently fold his arms over his stomach, placing one of his hands over the other. He barely registers us lifting him. Alright, I've got a steady hold. Let's go. I nod and we carefully cart him down the steep hill, Autry taking his time descending it backwards. It's impossible to focus on any of the scenery. All I can do is keep my eye on him to make sure he's still conscious. Hey, we're almost there, okay? It's gonna be all okay. Perhaps I was foolish. Shh, save your energy, Hero. We're at the gates, fellows. Curiosity briefly overrides my concern, and I glance at our new surroundings. Rows of simple homes are arranged in grids on either side of us. Absence of any individuality or expression. The intrigued heads of the townsfolk poke out of windows and alleyways. They're mostly well-dressed, a bit bruised and bandaged. What surprises me the most is the abundance of children playing in the streets. This can't be a good place to raise a family. Father told me about these company towns, but I never imagined they'd be so bleak. I guess everyone here works for Zeppelin in some fashion. The sky above swirls with black smoke, billowing out of a blacksmith's forge. My eyes start to water and I blink the tears away, unwilling to drop Hero again for any reason. Little One tells us where Miss Petra resides. Little One, tell us where Miss Petra resides. We're currently in town square. He's quiet. I shake him until he responds, half asleep. She 2 block to the left. The onlookers come closer, gawking at us, hoisting his limp body through the streets. I can understand them now. All of them. Oh no, what happened to the poor boy? They keep coming back from that airship, worse and worse. That blasted American has no regard for our well-being. Hero, he fixed my bicycle. Poor lad. They treat us bad enough, let alone the foreigners. May God strike it all down. These town folks are so warm to him, at least compared to everyone at the warehouse. I wonder how long he's been here. A deep growl breaks through the town chatter and grabs my attention. Ah, another mongrel dragged onto my doorstep. Wonderful. We're here. I look up. A mature lioness is glaring out of the window, a floor above us. You must be the good doctor this boy mentioned. Hello, we... She rolls her eyes and slams the shutter closed. Are you sure this is the right person, Hero? We strain our ears, the muffled sounds of someone descending a staircase, more angry, mumbling. Alright, what is it this time?